Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got something done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up in their names, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey, welcome back to the channel. So I just purchased about $800 of NVIDIA, but I also purchased about $3,000 worth of TMC. For all of you who don't know, TMC is the manufacturer of the chips that NVIDIA uses, and NVIDIA outsources their chips to a whole bunch of third-party suppliers. Now, I went straight into the video, didn't even introduce myself. My name is Festus. I'm a long-term investor. I've been doing this for over a decade. I average about 22 to 28% returns year over year for the last 10 years. I am a stock market guru in my own right, and I have been beating the stock market for years. I've been talking about getting into the AI space in some of my previous videos, and I just purchased some stocks. By the time this video comes out, it might have been a week or two that I had already purchased these companies, and so I'm expecting a lot of big things from these two companies. So TMC and NVIDIA is what I landed on in terms of my AI picks. I'm not telling anybody to invest in what I've invested in. I'm just telling people what I've invested in to do your own research. I'm not a huge fan of NVIDIA stock, and I have to make that quick disclaimer, and it's only because their dividend is so horrible. Let me say that again. Their dividend is so horrible. For all of you who know me, I'm a dividend growth investor. NVIDIA is absolutely growing, but their dividend is doo-doo, okay? So TMC is also growing, but their dividend is so much better. It's a little bit better. It's like over 1%. So I like TMC for that, and that's why I invested more into TMC, roughly $3,000 into TMC, only about $800 or $900 into NVIDIA. Now, why so little into the AI stocks based on my portfolio, based on my growth? Why so little into AI? Well, when I'm investing into companies these days, I invest in a pie. For all of those who know, I use M1 for my play portfolio, and it's not a play portfolio because it is a huge staple in my net worth, I would say. But I have other assets like my 401k, my Roth IRA, and things like that. So this is the biggest portfolio that I am actively managing, I would say. So it's not a play portfolio. The portfolio that I actively manage that has been averaging these 28% returns for me is where I'm investing in this AI company. And so why so little is because I have a pie. And so when I put money into a company, I'm also investing into other companies alongside it. So I bought a little bit more Walmart that day. I bought a little bit more of the S&P 500. I bought a little bit more of the O ETF. I bought a little bit more of a whole bunch of companies. I put about $6,000, I believe, into the stock market. I believe it was $6,000 I put that day in the stock market. And in order to get about 4% of my portfolio aggregated to just NVIDIA and TMC, I had to rebalance a few things. And I put 3% for TMC and only 1% for NVIDIA because I didn't have that much belief in NVIDIA. Now, if I believed in NVIDIA a lot more, I probably would have bumped it up to 2%. But if you look at my portfolio, guys, you're going to notice that in my portfolio, I haven't really gone over my portfolio in length. I showed you guys where I was at in terms of how much money I had in these accounts, but I didn't necessarily go over the percentages of each company in my portfolio. And I would say any company that's over 4% in my portfolio, I have a lot of confidence in. So that would be McDonald's is one that off the top of my head, I know they're at 4%. I believe Costco is at 4%. I might have dropped JP Morgan Chase down to about 3% or so. And that's only because I have a 401k still with JP Morgan Chase, and I have a lot of money invested with JP Morgan Chase in that specific 401k. I'm no longer with JP Morgan Chase. I have a lot of 401ks, guys. I've had a lot of jobs. But that's why JP Morgan is so low, although I do think the company will be around for years to come. Yeah, so why NVIDIA at 1%? Well, it could be higher. It could be at least 2% of my portfolio. I do have some trust in it, but that was the risk that I was willing to take with AI, with NVIDIA. And I believe TMC has a lot more room to grow because they are, again, manufacturing the chips for NVIDIA. It is more risky with TMC than NVIDIA, I would say, in some regards, because NVIDIA can find a different supplier, whereas TMC would lose a lot of its market cap if NVIDIA were to step away from it, right? So I can understand why NVIDIA has a higher market cap, a higher ceiling, a higher everything, but I just have more faith in the undergarment of what keeps NVIDIA running, which is TMC. So I'm kind of working backwards, but that's kind of what us geniuses do. We work backwards to find out the hidden gems that is really allowing these companies to make the money that they're making. And so another thing is that NVIDIA is employing U.S. workers, right? So in order to reduce cost in certain areas, you have to give a little bit. They got government contracts from the government, and in exchange, they're hiring American employees. And then so over the next 10 years, they're going to be fulfilling the needs of our military. They're going to be strengthening our advancements in technology, but they're going to be doing it on American soil. So it's a win-win for American workers. Although they could have did this all in Taiwan for a lot cheaper, they're moving to the U.S. in order to manufacture, but in exchange, they're getting all these government contracts and money flowing in order to allow them to subsidize and pay for American workers. So one way or another, even when we're paying for military advancements, we are essentially creating businesses for the American people through money printing. So one way or another, we find a way to print money in order to strengthen, Americans. But I will also say that we would have printed less money had we did it overseas, but we'd have also had less employed people. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that it was better for Americans to have more jobs at the sake of the taxpayers having to print more money to strengthen our military? Do you think that is better or is it safer that we're not creating these things overseas in Taiwan and protecting us even more from having our information leak to other nations and other countries? What do you think about that? Is it worth it because it's more secure in a way, or was it not worth the cost that is associated with it all? As for me, I'm investing in what's going to make money. So that's just a different topic entirely. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I post on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify for podcasters. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.